Good morning, welcome to the Daily News podcast. Today is August 2nd, 2026.
President Trump says planned U.S. strikes on Iran are being canceled for now, but only if Tehran moves rapidly toward a deal. That is a major shift after days of fears that the U.S. could be pulled into a much wider conflict. At the same time, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is reportedly urging Trump not to escalate, which tells you just how nervous the region is about a broader war, oil disruption, and a spiral nobody can easily control. Iran's leaders are showing unity in public, but reports say they're split internally on what the endgame actually is, whether that's deterrence, negotiation, or a longer confrontation. So for now, the temperature may be coming down, but this is still a very live crisis.
And that's the key point. A pause is not a resolution, and markets as well as allies will be watching every word out of Washington and Tehran today. In Ukraine and Russia, the war delivered another brutal night. Russian strikes on Kyiv killed at least 9 people, while Ukraine reportedly sank a Russian container ship, showing that both sides are still widening the battlefield in different ways. Inside Russia, there's also fresh concern after a bomb exploded outside a restaurant in central Moscow, killing 3 people and injuring more than 20. Taken together, it's another reminder that this war is not settling into the background. It continues to hit civilians, strain security at home and abroad, and keep Europe on edge.
Right. And it also shows how the conflict keeps evolving beyond the front lines. Maritime strikes, missile attacks, and now violence in Moscow all feed a sense that the war remains highly unpredictable. Moving to health news, the World Health Organization says the current Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is the worst the country has ever seen, with more than 1,500 deaths. What makes this especially alarming is that officials are dealing with a severe outbreak without an approved vaccine or treatment ready to turn the tide. That makes this not just a medical emergency, but a test of logistics, public trust, and state capacity in a country already under enormous strain.
That story deserves more attention than it's getting. When a disease outbreak reaches that scale without strong medical tools in hand, the humanitarian risk rises very fast. On the business side, Uber is expanding its autonomous vehicle network through roughly 30 partnerships. That's a big signal that the company doesn't want to build every piece of the robotaxi future itself. Instead, it's trying to become the platform that connects riders with a lot of self-driving providers, which could lower long-term driver costs and give Uber a stronger position if autonomous transport finally scales. It's less flashy than launching one car, but strategically it could be much more important.
And investors love optionality. If even a few of those partnerships turn into real volume, Uber could be sitting in the middle of a huge next-generation transport market. Sticking with tech and money, Alphabet is reportedly carrying more than $150 billion in commitments to accelerate its AI chip and data center push. This matters because it shows just how expensive the AI arms race has become, and not all of that risk is obvious at first glance if it sits off the balance sheet in leases and guarantees. Meanwhile, Microsoft is facing regulatory probes in the UK, Australia, and Italy over Microsoft 365 changes and how Copilot is being bundled in. So the AI boom is still full speed ahead, but the bill is getting bigger and regulators are paying closer attention.
Which is where the story gets real. AI isn't just about better chatbots anymore, it's about infrastructure, pricing power, and whether governments think the biggest players are moving too aggressively. And on the AI policy front, a judge has allowed Minnesota's ban on so-called AI Notify apps to move forward, rejecting a challenge from XAI. That's a notable ruling because it backs a state's ability to restrict one of the most harmful uses of generative AI, creating fake sexualized images without consent. Also today, the EU is requiring labels on realistic AI-generated content, a move that could reshape how platforms, creators, and advertisers disclose synthetic media.
That's going to land far beyond Europe. Once labeling rules start in one major market, platforms often end up adjusting globally because it's simpler than running 2 realities at once. Also in brief, 4 U.S. families are suing Meta, TikTok, Snap, and Google in a wrongful death case tied to allegedly addictive platform design.
Also in brief, ByteDance has launched CDance 2.5, and Reddit is buzzing over cheaper AI agents, humanoid robots, and what fast AI progress could mean for white-collar jobs. That's it for this morning's rundown.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with the stories that matter and the context you need.